aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, welcoming you to October 14th, Monday's live edition of Fire Your MD Now. And the more I lecture around the country, around the world, quite frankly, bringing our message of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition, bringing our understanding of the pathogenesis of disease, and showing people the startling differences between how an MD is trained to look at health and how a naturopathic physician is trained to look at health. The more I love the title of this show, because every single time I show up at an event to lecture, as I did in Phoenix, Arizona, we were actually in Mesa, Arizona, which is a suburb, I think, of Phoenix proper, a little bit southeast of Phoenix proper. I'm amazed at the startling number of people in the audience who were casualties of conventional medicine. And I am amazed at the recovery that people experience of their health through our strategies. There was a young man, probably in his early 50s, at the event in Phoenix. I hope he calls into the show sometime this week. I encouraged him to. He's a Mexican-American, and I came to Phoenix, I think, 5 or 6 months ago, and gave a similar lecture. And it was his wife was at the lecture and asked, as was he, I believe. He also was there, and he had stage 10 rheumatoid arthritis. Stage 10 rheumatoid arthritis. The MDs, of course, were threatening to slice and dice because that's what they do. When all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. I told him what I would do to support and promote the structure and function of my bones and joints had I had the diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. He was reluctant to do it, but his wife, basically coerced him, convinced him to give it a try. Within 3 days, I believe, there was a noticeable, measurable change. Within 3 months, he's completely symptom-free. It was a beautiful moment in time when he gave his testimonial, and this underlines a number of things. Number one, the MDs had completely let him down because, before you get to stage 10, guess where you are? Stage 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So while he was under the MD's care, his condition was getting worse and worse, and he'd been on every drug known to humankind. He'd also sought out the help of a number of alternative healthcare practitioners, right? Real black box stuff, right? Nothing helped him. Within 72 hours of giving his body good, new-fashioned medical nutrition, a remarkable turnaround, and within a number of months, complete 100% resolution of all of the symptoms. And even though I am a licensed physician, even though the federal government accredited the medical school that I gained a doctoral degree from, even though I have been licensed to practice medicine since 1992 as a physician, I can't say that I treat rheumatoid arthritis in the context of a lecture like that for the general public. And when somebody experiences resolution of rheumatoid arthritis, I can't say that we cured it, because according to the Food and Drug Administration, the only thing that can cure anything is a drug. The only thing that can cure anything is a drug. And, the only people that can treat disease are licensed physicians who take people on as a patient. Now, this guy was not my patient. He was an attendee at a lecture for the general public. This is the only way that the MDs and the pharmaceutical companies remain in power, because they make it illegal for anybody else to say that they treat or, in fact, help with disease, let alone, I say the word cure. The cure word is completely verboten. Unless you're Susan G. Komen. If you're the Susan G. Komen Foundation, you can race for the cure. But the Susan G. Komen Foundation, did you know this, spends millions of dollars in litigation suing small mom-and-pop organizations who have their own 5K run for the cure. Because for the cure is a patented trademarked term. It's a trademarked term that you can only use if you're a member of the Susan G. Komen Foundation and if your 5K run is giving money to the Susan G. Komen people, and you know who the Susan G. Komen people are? AstraZeneca. AstraZeneca. You got to be kidding me, ladies and gentlemen. The only way that the MDs remain in the driver's seat of medicine is because they make it illegal for anybody else to tell the world what they're up to and the results that they get. It's illegal. Can't do it. You should tune into Jonathan Emord's radio program. Please go to gcnlive.com, GCN, Genesis Communication Network, gcnlive.com. See when Jonathan Emord's radio show is on, call him up and ask him about the testimonial deal. Your jaw will be on the floor. In the 1920s, the pharmaceutical industry, in concert with the Carnegie Corporation, I don't think it was called the Carnegie Corporation, the Carnegie Foundation, passed laws which made it illegal to practice medicine unless you were an MD, and funded MD-directed medical schools and MD-directed hospitals all around the United States, cornering the market on medical delivery in the United States, which led to the ascendancy of the MD. Your medical doctor is, in fact, in the driver's seat of medicine and has, in fact, been there since the early 1900s. But the reason that they're there is not because their therapeutics are better. It's because they cornered the market with pharmaceutical money and glad-handing legislators to make it illegal to practice medicine unless you were an MD. And now, for goodness sake, when we are in the context of a public setting, when we're not actually taking on patients, when we're delivering generic, boilerplate, foundation medical nutrition, health recovery protocols, when people recover their health, we can't use the cure word. We can't even use the treatment word, which is appropriate because with naturopathic medicine, we don't treat disease. We treat people. There's a gigantic difference. This is, in fact, one of the tenets of naturopathic medicine. First, do no harm. It's called primum non nocere. Vis medicatrix naturae, the healing power inherent in the human body. And toli causum, treat the cause. Treat the cause, not the patient. Treat the cause. We do not treat the patient, not the cause. That's what I meant to say. We don't treat diseases because diseases do not exist as separate and distinct things like apples or oranges or computers. Diseases are intangible names that medical professionals have given to sets of symptoms which arise in living, breathing human beings. I could have 5 people all with asthma, a definitive diagnosis of asthma, and I could get 100 physicians to agree that they all had asthma, and each of their symptoms would be entirely different. Each of their subjective symptoms would be entirely different. One person's asthma might be only present when they exhale, and another person's asthma might only be present when they inhale. Another person's asthma may only be present when they're lying down in bed at night. Another person's asthma may only be present if they're exerting themselves. Another person's asthma may be relieved by putting their head between their knees. Another person's asthma may only be relieved if they're lying absolutely flat on their back or on their right side or on their left side, and so forth and so on. The MDs are completely blind to the distinctions, the organic distinctions which arise in the presentation of symptoms, because they do not believe that they are in fact treating people. They are in fact treating the lung, treating the airway, treating, whatever. They're reductionists, so they take the body apart and give one medicine to the bronchioles, one medicine to the blood vessels, one medicine for the muscles, one medicine for the pain, one medicine for the stomach, etc., etc., etc. We, on the other hand, being holistic, are trained to pay specific, detailed information to the organic presentation of a person's subjective symptoms, because we're not treating diseases, we're treating people. And when we listen to the language of the symptomology, when we pay attention to how the breathing is presenting, what makes it worse? What makes it better? Under what circumstances did it arise? What does it feel like? We get clues to a successful treatment. Because again, we're not treating disease. We're not treating parts of the body like the MD has been trained to do. We're helping people. There's a gigantic difference between treating people and treating disease. And this is why the MDs fail in their management of chronic disease. This is why they can't cure a damn thing. They can't. They can't even cure heartburn, right? They can't cure arthritis. They can't cure asthma. They can't cure high blood pressure. They can't cure insomnia. They can't cure allergies. They can't cure a simple case of heartburn. They can manage the symptoms with symptom-suppressive drugs, the intention of which is to exert a hostile takeover of the biochemistry of the human body and to take hostile control of the metabolism of the human body. Because the MD believes they are, in fact, treating the lung because the lung is, a separate piece of the body, and there is no soul, there is no soul force, there is no inherent intelligence of the body, there is no inherent vital force. The body has no ability to fix itself. Once you're sick, you're screwed, and your only option is to let the doctor march in with symptom-suppressive drugs. Just shut up and do what the doctor says, even though their therapeutics kill us. Just shut up and do what the doctor says. Well, you know what? Take your pill and shove it. Look, thank God for penicillin, thank God for Novocaine, thank God for morphine, thank God for the sterile technique, but that's about the end of it. It's about the long and the short of it. If you're up against it with a chronic disease, the first, second, and third thing you need to do is fire your medical doctor. Just stop going to them for advice because they have nothing for it. But drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, drugs and surgery, pain and suffering, bankruptcy, and death. What you can do instead, give yourself a clue about science-based, clinically verified, boilerplate, medical nutrition, health recovery protocols. We've got it dialed in. FireYourMDNow.com. Click the longevity button and join the cause. Dr. Glidden going to Florida to talk to Dawn when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Monday, October 14th. If you're not a Dr. Glidden insider, you're really missing out, if I do say so myself. Part of the wonderful things you get access to as a Dr. Glidden subscriber, a Dr. Glidden insider, as a subscriber to my online health recovery webinars, is a couple of hours of live chat every week. We had a live chat this morning at 10 o'clock Central Time. We had people on from London, people on from Australia, people from South Korea, people from all over the world. And I'm just going to read you some of the comments that people are making just to give you a taste of what you're missing. Really, really great stuff. Really, really great stuff. Abby from Miami writes, after constant attacks by everyone in my office, I finally caught a cold last Sunday. I took Longevity's Killer Biotic, 12 to 16 a day, and used the First Defense Oil. Wednesday, I woke up without the cold. In my office, nobody even noticed. No effects of the cold were shown. No ill feelings either. Amazing. Very good stuff. One more thing. Adriana from Georgia types, according to research done in Malaysia and Japan, the essential oil patchouli has been known to have antitoxin properties for insect and snake bites. How about that? Insect and snake bites, use patchouli while you're waiting to be transported to the hospital, of course, if it's been a snake bite. A couple more things just to share with you. J.C. Smith reports, a great report, Doc. Had a lady call me. She had a brain tumor 11 years ago. Several more surgeries after that. MDs were talking about another one, chronic migraines ever since. After being on the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack for 3 days, the migraines are gone. She was able to get up and fix her son breakfast for the first time in his life. Now she's been on the product for 11 days. She's like a brand new person. She's happy and telling everyone about longevity. And remember, we do not treat diseases. We don't treat cancer. We give the body the stuff it needs to fix itself, get the heck out of the way, keep our fingers crossed, and see what happens. John Walker from Vancouver, Washington says, healing is easy, but having a conversation about it with stupid people is difficult. You get that? Having a conversation with stupid people about what we are up to is difficult. It's like telling slave owners that slaves are people. It's like telling, the illiterate about the alphabet. It's like telling a communist about voters' rights. People just don't get it. because they're in love with their MD because of 100 years of pharmaceutical propaganda. This is why we do what we do. Because everybody needs to know what we know, and very few people are open-minded. But every once in a while, like the gentleman in Phoenix, Arizona with the bad knees and the rheumatoid arthritis, like the woman with the brain tumor and the migraine headaches, like Pat, who called in at the end of last week with a whole laundry list of problems, like Avi in Miami, who when he came to us, I think had 30 different symptoms. 30 different symptoms. Everybody is a casualty of MD-directed medicine, and yet, even though the MDs fail us, even though the MDs hurt us, even though the MDs kill us, even though the MDs bankrupt us, we keep going back and back and back to them, and when anything alternative to what the MDs do comes along, people look down their noses at it. This is why, in order to have a successful longevity business, you have to have a thick skin. In order to help people, you need to be willing to go through 10 no's to get to one yes. Because the one yes that you get to will make a gigantic difference, not only in your life, but in theirs. So have a strong heart, Longevity Nation. Take faith. Take heart. Every once in a while, somebody that you talk to gets it. Every once in a while, somebody that you talk to, their mind opens up and you've saved another life. This is not another network marketing company. We're not selling the compensation plan like most network marketing companies do. We're selling an idea for free. We're selling an idea for free that your body has the ability to fix itself, that the human body is endowed with a God-given intelligence. God-given intelligence. The yogis call it prana. Life force. Whatever it is that gives light to the eyes of the living, and whatever it is that disappears. Ever seen somebody die? Seen the light leave their eyes? Whatever that was that gives light to the eyes informs, protects, and orchestrates all of the billions of metabolic processes inside the body every second of every day. All we do is give the body the raw materials it needs to keep that engine running, get out of the way, and get her done. Stick around, folks. I really am going to go to Florida and talk to Dawn when we come back. This is Fire Your MD Now. Bada bing, bada boom. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, reminding you that only you can prevent MD-directed allopathic reductionism. Join Longevity now. FireYourMDNow.com. Click on the Join Team Glidden with the Longevity button and change your life. Going to go to Florida now, talk to Dawn about lymphangitis and smoking, I think. Hey, Dawn, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, a friend of mine, her son is in college, and he's been diagnosed with lymphangitis, and she says his immune system is shot. He has no energy. He's lost his appetite. He went to the health department, saw the doctor, and they gave him cephalexin, 500 milligrams. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, that's an antibiotic, yeah.
Yeah, and he's 175 pounds, and he's 6 foot 2 inches tall.
Yeah.
So,
well, you know, last week, I think, on my radio show, I did a breakdown of the treatment that MDs use for bronchitis and how they screw it up. And that bronchitis, I know it's not lymphangitis, and I'll get to lymphangitis in a second, but 70% of the MDs surveyed around the world give antibiotics for bronchitis, and antibiotics are completely it's the wrong thing to do, and it never works. Bronchitis is not caused by an infection. It's not caused by an infection, but the MDs give antibiotics for bronchitis all of the time. I mean, 70% of the time it's because they don't know what they're doing. It's the same thing with lymphangitis. They do not know what they're doing, so they'll either throw an anti-inflammatory prednisone at it, or they'll throw an antibiotic at it because they got to do something. They don't want to look stupid. And, you know, that's all they've got in their little bag of tricks. For goodness sake, years ago, they used to throw leeches at it because that's all they had in their little bag of tricks, and this is just one more reason to fire them. If they had paid attention while they were in high school biology, they would have been taught that any time anything gets swollen in the body, of any of your glands, when any of the glands in the body become swollen, it's because they're overworking and undernutrified. They're overworking and undernutrified. Your thyroid gland gets swollen. Why? Because you don't have enough iodine, so you get goiter. Now, the Food and Drug Administration recognized this, 40 years ago, and they made it mandatory to put iodine in the salt, which eliminated 90% of the cases of goiter in this country just by adding iodine. Well, you give the thyroid iodine because it needs it, and the goiter goes away. It shrinks, goes away. Well, when the tonsils get swollen, it's because they're undernutrified and overworked. And when the lymph glands get swollen, it's because they're undernutrified and overworked. Now, the fact that this young man also has chronic fatigue is indicative of this situation, because chronic fatigue is the most reported complaint to medical professionals in the world. More people go to the doctor because they don't have energy than any other complaint. It eclipses all other complaints, all other reasons for visits to the doctor. The numero uno, head honcho, big cheese, is not enough energy. Well, what causes not enough energy? A voodoo curse? No. A bad gene? No. An autoimmune disease? No. What causes not enough energy is your body has run out of the nutrients necessary to maintain proper energy levels in the body. It's kind of like you're driving around in a car. It's got plenty of gas in the tank, but it's got spark plugs that are 20 years old. They've never been changed. The spark plug wires are rusted. There's old transmission fluid in it. The oil in the engine's never been changed. It's thick like mud. So the car is going to be running at a substandard rate just because it's never been tuned up and it's missing a lot of the stuff that it needs to run properly. So it's the same with chronic fatigue and then concomitant lymphangitis. It's simple nutrient deficiencies across the board. It has nothing to do with an infection. The medical doctors, I would, I know what I would do if I were there. But nonetheless, my advice to him would be flush the antibiotics down the toilet and get 2 healthy start packs and 4 bottles of selenium. 2 healthy start packs and 4 bottles of selenium into his body every month, right? So 2 healthy start packs and 4 bottles of selenium a month, dose it appropriately. Have him eliminate the 10 bad foods. And within 14 days of taking the Healthy Start Pack and selenium into his body on a daily basis, his energy should be noticeably better, and the lymph glands should be noticeably better as well, because we're just going to feed the body the stuff that it needs, feed the body the stuff that it needs, give the body a tune-up, so to speak, and get out of the way and let the body go to work. This is a very common thing in teenagers. Because, they'll go to school and they'll stay up late because that's what you do when you're in college, and they'll drink too much because that's what you do when you're in college. They'll smoke a little marijuana because that's what you do when you're in college. And all of this stuff whittles away at their nutrient reserves, and then they're eating the crap food at the college cafeteria, and it makes it worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and then everything adds up and they collapse. And then the MDs throw drugs and drugs and drugs at it, makes them worse, then they lose their mind, then they end up in the psych ward, and then it's all over. So, honest to God, Don, just give this child the Healthy Start Pack. And as God is my witness, within 14 days there will be a remarkable turnaround.
Okay. Okay, great. My next question is, do you have a protocol to help people quit smoking?
Yeah, I did a webinar on that a couple of weeks ago. Are you a Dr. Glidden insider yet?
Not yet.
All right, so just... Yeah, you do. It's $20 a month. Yeah, it's the best $20 you'll ever spend. Just go to the website and become an insider. And when you're an insider, you get immediate access to over 100 hours. I think it's 110 hours now of archived health webinars, one of which is how to stop smoking. I've got webinars about everything. I've got webinars about how to dose the supplements. I've got webinars about how to increase the effectiveness of the supplements. I've got webinars about how to have a strong body without cancer. I've got webinars about what really causes heartburn and what really causes migraines and all kinds of things, man. It's really some good, new-fashioned medical nutrition stuff. And honestly, I think that you would, because you're a regular caller to the show, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just started, and I'm enjoying the radio shows, and I just
the
started
questions that you ask are great, and I can just tell by your tone that you're into this, and so I would.
Well, I believe in what you're saying, and we've started it, and we feel a difference in the way we feel. And then I'm excited for a friend of mine because she has arthritis, and so she just got the Healthy Bone and Joint Pack to help with her arthritis. So I'm just excited to see what's happening, and it works. So.
Well, the best is yet to come, so stick around with us. The long story short is that for addictions, from our point of view, the main cause of people craving things to begin with is mineral deficiencies. Mineral deficiencies are one of the first. When you run out of minerals, not vitamins or amino acids or essential fatty acids, when you run out of minerals, your body starts craving things. And, sometimes people crave tobacco. Sometimes they'll crave alcohol. Sometimes they'll crave marijuana. Sometimes they'll crave God only knows what, right? So while we're trying to, in the case of nicotine, there's a chemical addiction that they've developed, nicotine. We have to get on the other side of the chemical addiction. The best way to do that is with a nicotine patch or the nicotine gum, which steps down the amount of nicotine in your blood slowly so you can handle the withdrawal. But you also need to fill your body's nutritional tank up. And when you try to stop smoking or stop drinking alcohol or stop cocaine use or prescription medication use, right, which is also a big addiction in this country, it's 1,000 times easier to do that with a body that's nutrified and mineralized. It's 1,000 times easier. So the recommendation really is just the Healthy Start Pack and selenium appropriate for body weight with I would do 1 bottle of the plant minerals per 50 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of the plant minerals per 50 pounds of body weight per month. Take 1 ounce twice a day and keep a little container of it in your pocketbook, or keep a little container of it in your backpack or in your pocket or in your suit coat or on your office desk or whatever. And every time you feel like having a cigarette, instead of having a cigarette when you're in the reduction phase of the program, have a shot of the plant minerals instead. When you have a shot of the plant minerals, it will virtually eliminate the craving, and then it makes it 1,000,000 times easier to get on the other side of the chemical addiction. But check out the webinar because I go into it in detail. Appreciate everything that you do, Dawn. Keep up the good work in Florida. You are the last best hope your friends and family members and church members have to live a long, healthy, and prosperous life. From Florida to Alabama, looks like we are in the South today. I'm going to talk to Rita. Hey, Rita, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thank you. My call today is a generic topic in a sense because I know more than one person with this. I'm talking about elderly women with the diagnosis given of dementia, not Alzheimer's, very thin onion skin-like paper.
Yeah, they all have fragile skin, right? Yeah,
very fragile skin, tearing terribly. And they're both, two of them are doing the Exelon patch. One is with the Advair twice a day.
Yeah. And
in general, especially for just those things, what would you say?
Well, it's easy because if you look at the anatomy of the skin, the skin has 3 major layers, and between one of the major layers of the skin is fatty tissue. It's fat. It's fat. So fat is what your brain is made out of. Cholesterol. There you go. So guess what? When your body runs out of cholesterol, your brain dries up, your skin dries up. You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah, bingo, right? Now, also your lungs are going to dry up And you'll get asthma. You said this person's on Advair as well?
Yes.
Well, there you go.
There you go. We're
See
talking
that? And isn't that something?
Deficiency.
Yeah, from the proper perspective, right, it all comes into focus. It's like, son of a gun, it was right in front of my face. And, you know, why the heck do the MDs not know this?
Simple.
I know. It's so simple. It's like, holy smokes, which, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the recommendation would be the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. And also, because it's skin, we might as well up the ante and give the skin a little extra help, and that would be the glucogel.
Excellent,
because the skin has more stuff in it than just fat. But really, you want to do the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack because it has extra EFAs in it.
Okay.
Give a bottle of glucogel a month and encourage a diet that's, you know, like massive fat, good fats, full fat yogurt with the cream on top.
The wonderful thing about this is they both want eggs. If I could feed them, you know, deviled eggs all day long, they would eat them.
Yeah, the body knows, right? The body knows.
Dr. Glidden, bless you. Thank you. I'm grateful for your understanding.
Rita, we're all in this together. I appreciate the positive strokes. And listen, you know, I may be driving the wheel of the ship, but you're helping to keep the gears lubed up, and without you, the whole thing would fall apart. So keep up the good work. Your friends and family members, church members, community members are depending on you. And that's how we roll, ladies and gentlemen. You want to get in on this game? 866-582-9933. That's 866-582-9933. Going to Salt Lake City when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Talking to you Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 Central Time about all things relative to science-based, clinically verified, new-fashioned medical nutrition, the stuff that everybody in your life needs to know. Why? Because my people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. Let's go to Salt Lake City and talk to Priscilla. Hey, Priscilla. Thanks for calling. You are live.
Hi. Hi, Dr. Glidden.
What's happening, Priscilla?
Well, I have the same question I asked this morning, and you did answer it, but the mother is on the line. She can't really talk. She's just calling in on the listen-in number.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to kind of clarify for her. The daughter was in an automobile accident, and she was injured quite badly. And from what I understand, she has a wound on her leg, and it's the doctors have told her that, you know, she's just going to have to live without it being fully functional, and they can't get the wound healed. And we are going to attend the webinar tonight where she can actually text in the questions herself, but so that she can kind of hear it from you, what would you suggest for something like that?
So is it a contusion, is it a black and blue, or is it a laceration, you know, a cut?
Now, I believe it was a laceration.
Okay, so what we do to support and promote the structure and function of the skin in the face of lacerations that will not heal is you have to get your hands, Longevity doesn't sell this, you need to get your hands on an herbal medicine that has calendula, C-A-L-E-N-D like David, U-L-A, calendula and golden seal. Calendula and golden seal in it.
Golden seal, okay.
Now, and you can do it, you know, a cream or an oil or a salve. I think a salve would be better. A salve would be better. And I don't know how much you know about herbal preparations, but
I do know a lot about it, actually.
Oh, very good.
I use them. Yeah.
Okay, so if you look on the ingredient list of any herbal preparation, there's like 6 or 7 herbs. Nobody ever just puts 2 things in it anymore like they did in the olden days. So in this case, you want to see the first or the second ingredient be calendula.
Okay.
Because the way that it goes on the label is the further down on the list of the label the herb is, the less of it there is in the product.
Okay.
All right, so we want to have a lion's share of calendula in this, and the recommendation would be to apply the calendula topically to the laceration, 5-6 times a day, and put a gauze pad over it or bandage it appropriately so it doesn't get all over the clothes. And if you just keep putting calendula on the wound, the calendula and the golden seal salve within 72 hours, there should be noticeable healing by first intention. So there should be a noticeable resolution of the problem. That's what we do externally. Now, internally, what we do, we need to support the circulation, and we need to support the skin, right? Because it's the skin that's problematic here, and the more blood flow we can increase to the area, the faster the body's going to be able to heal it. So to accomplish those goals, the recommendation is the Healthy Start Pack and selenium, appropriate for body weight. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules a month. 1 bottle of Ultimate Daily Capsules a month. And glucogel. We use the glucogel appropriate for body weight because the skin is made out of the stuff that's in the glucogel. It's an interesting thing to talk about because the skin, the ligaments, and the tendons are more or less the same tissue, just different densities of the same tissue. It's kind of like the difference between steam, water, and ice. It's all water, just different densities of it, right? So when we're giving the skin nutrition, in addition to the 90, which is in the Healthy Start Pack, we do glucogel and, selenium, because everybody gets selenium. So the secret sauce here would be the glucogel and the Ultimate Daily Capsules. The Ultimate Daily Capsules are provided to increase circulation, to support and promote the circulatory system, which is never a bad idea for anything. And we do the calendula stuff topically. And I would gainsay that within 7 days of that program, there would be a remarkable positive turnaround in the appearance of the laceration. But, not only that, how the woman feels, right, internally, because this isn't a laceration program. This is a holistic health, give the body everything it needs to get out of the way program. And we would expect positive change across the board. Priscilla, we're up against the hard break. I'll look for you in the webinar tonight. Back with the second hour, folks. Stick around.